Hello students, I am Dr. V. Sudarshan Rao. As a part of food safety and quality control paper, now today we will try to learn about the chemical hazards. Food safety is a major public health problem. Consumption of unsafe food not only results in mortality and morbidity, it also affects the food trade. Based on the source of different hazards in food, they have been classified into three types. One is physical, chemical and biological hazards. Chemical hazard, the problem with the chemical hazards has always been that it is very difficult to relate it to cause and effect relation is very difficult to establish, because small quantities of chemicals consumed over a period of time may result in a cancer or some other disease, which is very difficult to relate it to the consumption of these chemical contaminants. But a whole lot of health hazards have been actually associated with the consumption of chemicals. So, the objectives of this module is to understand the type and nature of chemical hazards in food and source of those chemical hazards in food and control measures what we are supposed to take to ensure that food becomes safe. A wide variety of diseases like cancer, kidney and liver dysfunction, immune system suppression, musculoskeletal disease, birth defects, premature births, impeded nervous and sensory system development, reproductive disorders, mental health problems, cardiovascular diseases, genitourinary disease, old age dementia and learning disabilities. So, all these type of health hazards have been associated with the consumption of excess of chemicals. It is important to know that what are the different types of chemical hazards and their sources in food, so that effective control measures can be taken to make food safe. So, chemicals can be present in food due to various reasons. So, it may be due to air pollution, water pollution or soil pollution, and also the chemicals used in food crops like pesticides, or in food animals like drugs that are injected to animals for various diseases. And chemicals are also formed during the processing also, and some of the chemicals are also added while actually for technological functions during food processing. So, depending on the nature and source of chemicals, they are broadly classified into 9 classes. They are mycotoxins, marine toxins, pesticide residues, veterinary drug residues, environmental contaminants, food additives, process contaminants, food contact materials, cleaning agents and sanitizers. Now, we will try to understand each one of them one by one. The first one is the mycotoxins. Mycotoxins are nothing but the toxins produced by the various fungi. So, the fungi actually generally are present on foods. According to one estimate, more than 400 different mycotoxins are discovered, but very few of them are of concern from food safety point of view. That is why though 400 have been described in the literature, but our concern will be only few of them. We will be trying to understand what are those things. Field fungi present on the field food crops and storage fungi under favorable conditions produce toxins. The toxins are produced under the favorable conditions of storage or even the field itself. Each of the toxin has a different health effects in humans, and among them 5 major mycotoxins which are often found in food and feed. So, they are all our concern. So, they are aflatoxins, deoxynivalenol or nivalenol, zearalenone, ochratoxin and pathogen. What are the aflatoxins? Aflatoxins are classified as a potent human carcinogens by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. This is the international agency which actually classifies them based on the available literature. So, aflatoxins are classified as potent human carcinogens, and they are produced by Aspergillus flavus and Aspergillus parasiticus. These are the 2 fungi which produce this particular toxins. There are 5 different aflatoxins. They are namely aflatoxin B1, aflatoxin B2, aflatoxin G1, G2, and the another one which is found in milk is called as M1, aflatoxin M1. So, maize, groundnut, chilies are the major foods where aflatoxin contamination is found, and aflatoxin M1 is often found in the milk. That is why it is called actually milk toxin also. Aflatoxin M1 is actually the metabolite of aflatoxin B1 which comes into milk if the milch cattle feed is contaminated with the aflatoxin B1. So, the source of aflatoxin M1 could be aflatoxin B1 through the feed. The next mycotoxin that we are discussing is the deoxynivalenol or nivalenol. These are the mycotoxins which affect the human health, causing acute temporary nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, headache, dizziness and fever. Some species of the fusarium produce these toxins, and it generally infects maize, wheat, oats, barley, rice and other food grains in the field or during the storage. The next mycotoxin that we are discussing are zearalenone. This also is produced by several fusarium species and is found in maize, wheat, barley, sorghum and rye. Zearalenone is primarily a field contaminant. Toxin production may occur under poor storage conditions. No human health effects have been reported, but it has been shown to be having estrogenic activity in experimental animals. Acrotoxin is the other mycotoxin that we are discussing. This is produced by several fungal species including Aspergillus acraceus, Aspergillus carbonarius, Aspergillus niger, Penicillium verrucosum. These are few of the fungi which actually produce acrotoxin. It is generally found in dry beans, maize, wheat, barley, oats and green coffee beans. Acrotoxin A causes nephrotoxicity and renal tumors in experimental animals. So, Balkan endemic neuropathy, chronic interstitial neuropathy, nephropathy and other renal diseases in humans have been linked to acrotoxin exposure. So, these are the studies where they have tried to link it up to the acrotoxin exposure. The next mycotoxin that we are discussing is patulin. This mycotoxin is produced by several species of Aspergillus and Penicillium. Patulin is found in unfermented apple and grape juice and other field crops. There are no studies to indicate the human health effects of patulin. Earlier, there was a concern that this could be a carcinogen, but the International Agency for Cancer Research and Cancer concluded that there is insufficient evidence to consider it as human or animal carcinogen. The other toxic effects observed in animal experiments are gastrointestinal lesions, distension, hemorrhage in the stomach and small intestine. The next class of chemical hazards could be marine toxins. As the name indicates, marine toxins are chemicals found in seafood. They enter seafood due to infection or bioaccumulation due to ingestion of toxic algae. The most common food poisoning due to marine toxins are paralytic shellfish poisoning, scambrotoxic fish poisoning, ciguatera poisoning, neurotoxic shellfish poisoning, amnesic shellfish poisoning. What is paralytic shellfish poisoning? Paralytic shellfish poisoning is due to the consumption of seafood like mussel, oysters, crabs, lobsters and clams, which have caused this disease, and the typical symptoms include headache, dizziness, nausea, muscular coordination problems. These are some of the symptoms that are found with this particular poisoning. Then scambrotoxic fish poisoning is also called histamine poisoning. It is caused due to the consumption of contaminated seafood like tuna, mackerel. The symptoms of these things include rash, flushing, abdominal pain, vomiting and diarrhea. The other type of marine toxic poisoning could be ciguatera poisoning. This is caused by the consumption of one particular fish called barracuda, which feeds on contaminated fish. This fish is generally found in the eastern side of Atlantic Ocean, Red Sea and Caribbean Sea. The symptoms include nausea, vomiting, cramps and diarrhea. The other toxic poisoning due to marine toxins is neurotoxic shellfish poisoning. It is caused by the consumption of oysters, clams, mussels which contain certain neurotoxins. The symptoms of this poisoning are numbness, tingling sensation and lack of limb coordination. The last among these marine shellfish poisonings is amnesic shellfish poisoning. It is very rare poisoning caused by a toxin made by a diatom called Nitzschia pungens. Ingestion of these diatoms by mussels and subsequently such seafood consumption by human causes this poisoning. Symptoms include dizziness, headache, disorientation and permanent short-term memory loss. In severe poisoning, the seizures, focal weakness or paralysis or even death may occur. Now we come to the other type of chemical hazards. They are known pesticide residues. A large number of pesticides are used to control pests in food crops. So this not only on food, agricultural food crops and also feeds for the food animals. In all these places they are likely to be having these pesticide residues. So they leave a residues in food are called pesticide residues. So WHO gives a more scientific definition for these pesticide residues. As per this WHO definition, any substance or a mixture of substances in food for man or animals resulting from the use of a pesticide and includes any specified derivatives such as degradation and conversion products, metabolites, reaction products and impurities that are considered to be of toxicological significance is the one that becomes a pesticide residue. Their presence in the food is inevitable, but the levels of residues present should not have any health effects on the consumers. Hence, regulatory bodies identify maximum residual limits for each of the pesticide in each of the food, feed and commodities. These are the upper legal levels of a concentration for a pesticide residues in food or feed based on good agriculture practices and to ensure the lowest possible consumer exposure to these pesticide residues. Toxicity data is generated on each of these pesticides using experimental animals, so it is difficult to explain all the toxic effects of all the pesticides. The presence of pesticide residues in food beyond their respective MRLs is a cause of concern for the consumers. Each country has its own list of MRLs for pesticides, hence it is necessary to understand the country's requirement while processing food. The other type of residues that we get in food are called veterinary drug residues. These are actually food animals like we humans also, they suffer from diseases, and for control of that diseases or curing of those diseases, the drugs have to be administered to these animals. So, veterinary drugs are used for their treatment or cure the diseases. They also leave the residues in the edible animal products like meat, fish, egg, etc. Residues of veterinary drugs include permanent parent compound or their metabolites in any edible portion of the animal products and include associated impurities of the veterinary drugs concerned. Like MRLs for pesticides, veterinary drug residues also have MRLs for edible animal products. So, each edible animal products like liver or muscle or eggs or even fish, they will have a different levels of MRLs. And maximum residue limit is the maximum concentration of a residue resulting from a use of veterinary drug expressed as milligrams per kg or micrograms per kg on a fresh weight basis as per good veterinary practice. The MRLs also takes into account other relative public health risks as well as food technological aspects. All the necessary toxical data is generated for each of the veterinary drug before it is permitted to be used. Presence of veterinary drug residues beyond their MRLs is a public health concern as they may result in antibiotic resistance in consumers or allergy in sensitive individuals. Some of the hormone residues may act as endocrine disruptors. Permitted veterinary drug residues and MRLs may also vary from country to country. The other group of chemical hazards enter the food due to environmental pollution. So, these are called environmental contaminants. These refers to chemicals present in soil, air and water. These chemicals may also be from natural sources or due to industrial pollution. Environmental contaminants include toxic metals, dioxins, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons and polychlorinated biphenyls. Yeah, among the environmental contaminants, now we will try to see one by one. The first one is the toxic metals. There are many toxic metals, but four metals are generally discussed in the context of food contamination, and they are lead, cadmium, mercury and arsenic. So, the lead occurs naturally in rock and soil and also used in many industries. Lead, it is ubiquitous in the environment and hence present in air, water, soil as well as in food. Lead can enter the food chain through various routes. For example, plants uptake lead from soil and it can also be deposited on the food surfaces. Food animals are also exposed to lead through their feed and water. The concentrations of lead found in food are low, but now it is well recognized that even at lower levels of lead, it is known to produce damage to various organs, which on long run causes loss of cognition, shortening of attention span, alteration of behavior, dyslexia, that is a reading disorder and it is called as a learning disability, attention deficit disorder, these are generally seen in children, hypertension, renal impairment, immunotoxicity and the toxicity to the reproductive organs. It is very difficult to eliminate lead from food, hence to reduce the risk having any health effect on consumers, tolerance limits have been prescribed for the foods. Next one is the cadmium among the toxic elements. Unlike the lead, cadmium is a relatively rare metal found in nature. It is also used in many industries including fertilizers. Cadmium can enter food through uptake by plants or food animals exposed to contaminated feed or water or seafood as mollusks or crustaceans. The amount of cadmium in food is likely to be very low, but chronic exposure at lower levels of cadmium can lead to buildup of cadmium in the kidneys and high buildup will damage the kidneys. Chronic exposure will also make bones very fragile. Mercury is another important toxic metal that we should consider when food safety is considered. Mercury is also an industrial pollutant and it is released into environment by power plants, cement plants, certain chemical industry, and also it is used to manufacture thermometers, thermostats, automotive light switches, etc. Once mercury enters water due to environmental pollution, it is converted to methyl mercury by bacteria. The methyl mercury consumed by fish, and in fish it bioaccumulates. Consumption of such contaminated fish causes mercury poisoning. High risk population for mercury exposure is pregnant women and children. And methyl mercury is a neurotoxin. It affects the brain development of children, developing fetus in pregnant women. In adults, it causes memory loss and tremors. The dioxin is another environmental contaminant. These are the class of chemicals formed during the incineration of waste, forest fires, and industrial processes like paper pulp bleaching and herbicide manufacturing. So, in all these cases, the dioxins are released into the environment. Among all the dioxins, the most toxic chemical is the class is 2378 tetrachloro dibenzopyridioxin. This is called TCDD. This is the one which is of major concerns among all the dioxins. Dioxins accumulate in fatty tissues of food animals and thus consumers are exposed to dioxins. Health effects like risk of cancer, developmental problems, heart disease, diabetes, etc. have been documented mostly in population occupationally exposed to dioxins. Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons is another set of environmental contaminants, and these chemicals are formed due to burning of organic matter, and not all polyaromatic hydrocarbons are toxic, but most toxic and researched polyaromatic hydrocarbon is the benzopyrene. PAHs are found in environment due to vehicular emissions or industrial pollution. These are also formed during the smoking of fish or meat smoking or barbecuing. They are considered both as environmental contaminants and process contaminants because we are finding them during smoking of fish and meat, and data from experiments show them to be mutagenic, genotoxic and carcinogenic. That is the reason why we are concerned about these contaminants. Another class of environmental contaminants is polychlorinated biphenyls. These are a group of compounds which are used in the production of various products like diffusion pump oils, transformers, capacitors, hydraulic and lubricating fluids, flame retardants, paints, adhesives, plasticizers, etc. They end up as environmental contaminants because of use in these industries. Animal experiments have indicated that PCBs can cause hormonal imbalance, reproductive failures and cancer. Their production is banned in many countries due to their highly toxic nature. Fish found in contaminated site or food animals grazing in contaminated feed will accumulate PCBs in their fatty tissues. People are exposed to PCBs through consumption of contaminated fish or animal fat. The one chemical that actually is very much concerned by the general public is the food additives. Food additives are chemicals. They are intentionally added to food for a technological purpose in the manufacture, processing, preparation, treatment, packaging, transporting. In all these cases, there is a chance these additives can be used. And these additives are permitted by regulatory agencies. They are specific to food, and also quantity to be used is fixed for the specific technological function. All permitted food additives are safe at the levels of their permitted use. However, it is the misuse, that is use of unpermitted additives or use of permitted additives beyond their permitted quantities that creates the food safety concerns. Otherwise, there is not much concerns with the food additives. Some of the color additives like rhodamine, malachite green, metanyl yellow, Sudan dyes, these are the things which are not permitted, but we find some of them are being used because they are not safe. Commonly used preservatives like sulfites may aggravate asthmatic attacks in sensitive individuals. So, like in the case of pesticide residues or veterinary drug residues, the list of permitted additives may vary from country to country. So, it is not universal that every food additive that is permitted in one country is permitted in other country. That has to be kept in mind while adding these additives. The other class of contaminants that come in food are process contaminants. So, these are the chemicals formed during the food processing, and their presence in the food is a cause of food safety concern. Some of the important process induced contaminants are acrylamide, furan, nitrosamines. Acrylamide is a chemical formed during the processing of starch rich food material at a high temperature, more than 120 degrees, with low moisture. It was detected in potato chips, french fries, bread, biscuits and coffee. The concern on acrylamide is because it is classified as a carcinogen. Furan is also a chemical formed during preparation of food during heat treatment like sterilization, roasting, baking from natural components of the food. It is found in coffee, canned foods, baked foods, etc. Furan is found to induce cancer in experimental animals, and the International Agency for Research on Cancer has declared it as a probable human carcinogen. Nitrosamines is another class of process contaminants. It is due to the additive that we are using generally in meat. Nitrite is a food additive that is used in meat and meat products as a preservative or color fixative. Nitrates reacts with breakdown product of protein and produce nitrosamines. These are also formed during processing like bacon and beer. Most of these nitrosamines are mutagenic and they can become carcinogens under certain conditions. Nitrosamines are generally detected in cured meats. The other class of chemical hazards includes the materials that come in contact with food, like the one which is used for packaging materials like plastics, paper, metal, machinery, because the machinery used while processing the food also comes in contact with food, utensils that are generally food is stored or used for transport, and the containers where the food is actually transported like milk containers or oil containers. So, all these things are considered to be food contact materials because they come in direct contact with food. So, they should not leach any chemical that could be harmful to the human health. Can migrate into food and make it unsafe. There has been a concern on the type of plastics used for food packaging, for example, one of those food contact materials, as some of them are known to migrate in food and are classified as carcinogens. Polyvinyl chloride, polystyrene, these are two unsafe plastics which are not supposed to be used for food. And bisphenol A is used for polycarbonated bottles, is suspected to be endocrine disruptor. This is one chemical which is a part of the polycarbonate bottles. This is generally used for infant milk for disposable bottles. Even the machinery used for food processing should not result in contaminating the foods. So, that is why it is always suggested they should be used in stainless steel material while actually making food machinery. Even the containers, utensils used for food materials also should not leach any toxic materials into the food. Specifications for food grade approved food contact materials is provided by the food regulatory agents in each of the countries. They are supposed to be used for food contact materials. The other one which is used in the industry is the cleaning agents. So, the cleaning is a prerequisite for effective sanitization. Organic matter from food residues such as oils, grease, protein needs to be removed from the premises or the machinery or utensils for sanitization to take place. Even before you have to sanitize anything, this has to be cleaned up. So, after cleaning only we can do sanitization. So, for that purpose a lot of cleaning agents are used. They are like detergents, acids, abrasive used for which leave also residues. These residues should not become health hazards, hence only approved cleaning agents are permitted to be used in food processing. That has to be checked before somebody is using that in the food industry. The sanitization follows the cleaning. That means you have to remove all the biological pathogens, other things which are likely to be there after the cleaning, and heat or chemicals are used for sanitization, and sanitization removes almost all the pathogenic organisms. Chemicals like antiseptics, disinfectants, bactericides, bacteriostatic agents are used in food industry for sanitization purpose. Hence again the residues should not become health hazards. So, only sanitizers which are used in the food processing are identified based on their safety and they are approved, which only those can be used. Then we have seen a lot of chemical hazards. How are we likely to control them? A wide variety of chemicals are likely to present in foods and they can enter the food chain any stage from production to consumption. Once they enter the food, it is very difficult to eliminate them. Prevention is the best method of their control. Pesticide residues, veterinary residue needs to be controlled at the production stage by following good agriculture practice and good veterinary practice. Mycotoxins can be effectively controlled by proper drying of food grains. Putting in place proper quality control mechanism for incoming raw materials to control marine toxins, environmental contaminants, food contact materials will help. Good manufacturing practices for control of food additives, process contaminants, cleaning and sanitizers will help in controlling these contaminants. Finally, if you really want to check, it is best advised is to application of food hygienic basic principles at all stages of food chain that will help in minimizing both not only chemical even biological hazards. To summarize the module that we have learned, so it is very clear that chemical hazards can enter food at any time from food production to consumption. So based on the nature and chemical structure, that now we realize that there are 9 different types of chemical hazards, classified them, and some of them like environmental contaminants, mycotoxins, pesticide residues, veterinary drug residues, cleaning agents, sanitizers, food contact materials, all those things actually can become a chemical hazards. Now it's very important to understand that what is the source of this chemical hazards in food, and the best method to understand this source of this one is by the HACCP approach. Then follow the good agriculture practice, good veterinary practice, and also a very good post storage practices, and also in case of processing, good manufacturing practice. If somebody is using all of them, probably we can control them at the entry level itself. That's how we can ensure the food safety.